channel. So today I'll be showing you guys how to make this off-shoulder dress that ties at the sleeve. It's just a very casual dress. So the first thing I did here is to cut out two pieces of this fabric. This is one piece here and this is the second piece, and as you can see they are all folded. This is my back panel, that's why it's longer by at least 2 inches, and then this is my front panel. So the width of this fabric is about, so guys, so the widest part of this dress that I'm working with is the hip, and also the bust. So just check the widest part of the body that you're working with. So for me it's 47 divided by 4, that's about 11.75, and then you add extra 1 inch to it, so I have about 12.75. The extra 1 inch is just for the seam allowance, so that's about almost, you can approximate it. For me it's about 13 inches, so that's my width here. And then for the back panel I added about 2 inches there. This is for my zip allowance, and this is the zip I'm going to be using. So let's start cutting. So the first thing here is the length of the dress. So my off shoulder is going to start at 7, but I added half an inch at the top here. This is just to use the one I'm going to use bias to fold at this top part, so that's why my tape is at this point. So you see, normally let's say this is your shoulder, so it's left for you to measure yourself and find where you want yours to start. So if this is my shoulder, this is my shoulder, and this is your armhole here. This is your normal bodice, right? So this is my normal bodice here. I want mine to start at 7, but I left half an inch on top here to use bias to fold it. So the next thing I'm going to measure here is my shoulder to bust, which is about 11 inches down, and then shoulder to waist, which is 18 inches down, and then the shoulder to hip, which is about 25 inches down here. So the next thing I'm going to do is so my dress length is going to be 39, but if you look here, you will see that I have 40, and this 40 is because the extra 1 inch is just to fold the end here. So that's why I have 40 instead of 39. So the next thing I'm going to do is just go back and place my tape here, and then the armhole I'm working with, if I place back my tape, is at 10. So I'm just going to put in the 10 here. So I'm going to place back my tape. The bust measurement I'm working with is 47 divided by 4, that's going to be 11.75. So plus 1 inch, that's 12.75. I marked that here. And then coming down to the waist I'm working with is 40. The waist I'm working with is 40 divided by 4, that's going to be 10, and then I'm going to add extra 2 inches to it, so I'm going to have 12. So for the bust I add 1 inch, for the waist I add extra 2 inches, 1 inch for the darting and 1 inch for the seam allowance. And then coming down to the hip is the same thing, only 1 inch is what I'm going to add, and is the exact measurement. So 47 divided by 4 plus 1 inch, so that's what I have here, 12.75. And then come down to the end of the dress. I'm going to subtract 1 inch here, because remember it's going to be pencil dress, so I'm going to subtract 1 inch here, and then come down here by 1 inch, because if you want to connect this, you can't just connect it directly here. If not, it will have this pointed sides, so it's better to come down by 1 inch and then gradually connect it together, you see. So that's what I have here. If you have a curve ruler, that's better, just place it here and then curve it yourself. And then from here you connect the waist, and then from here you connect it to the bust. So that's what I have here. So you see my bust line is this line, my waistline, the hip line, and then the length of the dress is this end. So coming down here, what you're going to do here is just measure yourself from, so guys, you're just going to place your tape from one side here to the other side here and find out what you have, right? Because remember, this is going to, the top part of this dress is just going to be from this side to this side, and then the rope comes in on this end and the other end. The same thing is what you're going to measure on your back too. So the two measurements might be different, or most times they are different. So for me, the one I measured on this client is 17 inches. So 17 inches divided by 2, that's going to be 8.5, right? So I've marked the 8.5 here, and then I'm going to connect it all the way here. So this is now your new armhole, right? So this is now my armhole here, and then I'm just going to, for the back, the same thing for the back. This client, the same thing is the measurement in front and at the back. But if you find that yours is different, like if you want to measure yours and you find that it's different, you can always just shape out your dress and then gradually chip out more from the front. Or maybe if the front is bigger than the back, you first cut out the front and then chip out from the back. But that's basically it for this. So I'm going to just cut out this here. So I'm going to show you guys how you cut it out. You just cut out first the armhole. This armhole here, you're going to use bias to finish it up, and then I'm going to cut out this part here. I know you can't really tell the shape of the dress at the moment but once I add the dots, it will come together. So, and then from here, you're going to just cut out the excess down here. So guys, now that I've done it, I'm going to just go ahead and open up my zip allowance for the back panel. See my front panel, this is the back one. So I'm just going to open up the zip allowance here. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to dart it. So basically, to dart it, all you need is the breast point measurement. That's one distance of the nipple to. I'm going to use about 10 inches for the nipple to nipple measurement. That's the breast point. So you divide it by 2. You just measure from one point of the breast to the next, and then for this I'm working with 10. 10 divided by 2, that's 5. So I just measure out where 5 falls in here. Is at this point, right? So I'm just going to try to fold it on this point here. So fold it at this point. So here, so this is where my 5 inches falls in here. So what I'm going to do now is to measure out the same thing here again. So from this point to the breast line, that's the shoulder to the breast, and then the shoulder to the waist, and then the shoulder to the hip, which is 25, right? So guys, on this waistline, what I'm going to do is to mark half an inch here, right? So you see, that's how I'll do it. Just mark. So guys, just mark half an inch on one side and then half an inch on the other side, and then your dart stops 2 inches before the hip line. So that will be somewhere at this point. You connect it, and then the same thing 1 inch before the bust line. So somewhere here you also connect the dart. So that's how you're going to do it. I've done many tutorials on how to put in your dart. So you do the same thing for the front on each side, and then do the same thing for the back. So that's basically it for this. So I'm just going to go ahead, put in my dart, and then use bias to finish up the armhole. So I'm going to use bias to finish up this armhole. And remember, your dart at the back is going to get to the end here. Your dart at the back is going to get to the end, but my dart in front is going to stop 1 inch before my bust here. So I'm going to cut out what I'll use for the sleeve. So guys, what I cut out from the bottom of this dress is what I'm using, because remember it's off shoulder and I'm using Akara fabric, so I didn't use up the whole length of the dress. So what I took out from the bottom is what I'm using for my sleeve. So for that, I have about 4 inches of width here, and then the length I'm using, it depends on you how long you want the rope to be. I'm using 27. So all I have to do is just like how you normally make a belt, fold it one end here, fold the other end, and then just sew all the way, close up the end, and then flip it inside out and iron it. So that's basically it. So I'm going to go and finish up mine and show you guys. So guys, when I say I use bias, this is what I mean. Just cut 1 inch width strip of fabric that is long, place it on what you're sewing. Just make sure you leave enough at the edge so that you can use it to fold the rough end. That's enough at the end here. Then you just make a straight stitch all the way down. Guys, now that I've attached it, so what I'm going to do is just cut small like snips of this fabric out so that it will not be bulky when I fold it. So after that, I'm just going to fold this end in, fold this part here, bend it and then make a top stitch on it. So that's how you use the bias. I already have a video on this. So guys, I've finished this here. I've finished the bias also, see, all over. So I've also gone ahead and put in my zip and folded the end of the dress here. So the only thing left now is to iron it out and also to go ahead and put in my straps. So to put in the straps, all you have to do is just take the strap that you have, just put it at this end here, make a top stitch on it here, sew it down, and then flip it this way and also top stitch it. So that's how I'm going to do mine. So get the strap, put it down, make a stitch on it, then fold it this way and then top stitch it. So I'm going to do it. As you can see, I have 4 of them here, 2 for each side, so 2 on both sides here. So that's basically it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.